never thought I'd be making this video, but I have to apologize. I had an experience last week that made me rethink everything I know about low ranks. I was completely shell-shocked. I've made plenty of videos in the past totally trashing Platinums as being the worst rank in Rocket League. Like, I have no problem with people being bad at the game. But the reason I've made so many videos roasting Platinums is because of their mentality. Plats have always been known for learning unimportant skills, being toxic, having a massive ego, and not having any brains to back it up. I always thought that if you have at least half a brain, even with hardly any skill, you'd be able to breeze right by Platinum just fine. Last week, I learned that's not actually the case. So today, I'm sharing my story. My story of the game that taught me what Platinum is really like. In case you didn't see it, last week I made a video talking about why mechanics in Rocket League don't actually matter. The idea behind it was that players for each rank are way more mechanical than they need to be. Not just the self-proclaimed platinum freestylers that say they can flip reset consistently, but really almost everyone. I showed stats backing it up, how almost everyone thinks that they should learn mechanics way earlier than they actually should, and everything came together nicely. But as one final piece of proof to really drive the nail in the coffin, I decided to create a fresh account and use a piano as my controller. Essentially restarting in terms of mechanical skill, so I'm forced to only rely on positioning to carry me through the ranks. Also lucky, of course. The plan worked perfectly as expected at the start. But by the time I got to Platinum, everything changed. In my 7th placement game, which wasn't even the particular game in question, I suddenly struggled to win way more than previously. No! This guy right here, Zachary, was actually just like me, but on the other team. He was also solo queuing, not on his main account. Only difference was, I highly doubt he was actually playing on a piano like I was. So this matchup wasn't exactly fair to begin with. It was incredibly obvious looking back on this game that he was far faster than everyone else, and when he actually did want to score or make a save, he would just do it. But for some reason, I didn't notice it at the time despite the obvious signs right in front of me. So in my head, I was getting pretty worried. The whole point of this video I was working on was to show that you can rank up just as easily without any mechanics. If I lose in Plat, I'll basically just be proving myself wrong. We ended up losing this game inevitably, and it was at that point where I realized what had actually happened. I struggled so much in this game because there was a clear silent carry on the opposing team. And because of that, I was no longer worried about this video turning into a complete disaster. After all, I do frequently mention that you're bound to get unlucky in some games with opponents just playing really well. But I always say your rank will always even out to where you belong in the long term. So that game was definitely just a one-off. As long as I don't get any smurfs in any of my future games, I'll go right back to win streaking straight up to where I belong. At least, that's what I thought before the following game. This is where it all went down. And the scary part, everyone else in this game was a real, genuine platinum. No smurfs, no nothing. These are my teammates. To my knowledge, they both want to win just as badly as I do. Only difference between me and them is that I actually have a brain. Now, I'll admit, that does make me sound like an egotistical jerk. But please just hold your judgment until the end. Using that brain, I was 100% confident that we were going to win this match. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. The match started off with an AFK opponent on kickoff. This character becomes important later on, by the way. Yeah, this is definitely a platinum game, I thought to myself. There's no way we lose this. Right off the bat, I found myself in a perfect position to be extremely productive in this play. I starve one boost, bang the ball off the corner so it bounces mid for my team, then make my way to quickly starve both of the opponent's corner boosts. But to my surprise, neither of my teammates are actually mid ready for my pass. In fact, they weren't even in position to keep the pressure on at all. They were just watching. But you know what? This is Platinum. I called Platinum the worst rank for a reason. I can't expect them to be in the perfect spot all the time. So I continued to starve the second corner boost, then made my way back, rotating behind, straight to the back post. We're still way ahead on the boost game since I just took 3 of the opponent's boosts, and I've got 2 teammates ready to stop their counterattack. There's no way we get scored on here. Yeah, that's not true. Suddenly, I noticed that neither of my teammates actually do anything with the ball. The first just drives toward the play, and then up the wall for a few seconds. And then the second practically doesn't even try. Something's wrong here. What's going on? My opponent, who's a plat, just flicked on me. And my teammates just... You know what? It's fine. That's literally 1 goal. We're 17 seconds into the game. Even with no mechanics, since I'm using a piano, I'm still miles better than everyone else in this lobby. I'll be just fine. The next kickoff, I didn't control properly, so I sent it pretty much straight to the opponent's possession. But I already knew that this wasn't that big of a deal at this rank. Again, I've got 2 teammates behind me, and even if they don't do anything to help, I should still have enough time to get back on defense since Platinums can't counterattack that fast. Luckily, my observations were completely correct, both about Platinums not being able to counterattack quickly, and also about my teammates literally doing nothing to help. But whatever, it's fine. I just had to deal with it and move on. Because if I didn't move on, I wouldn't have been ready for when my teammate dined up the opponents by slamming it off our own backboard. Fortunately, I did manage to make the save and keep the game from getting too out of hand within the first minute of gameplay. But little did I know, to keep this game alive, I'd have to step up my game massively. At this point, I decided that I can't trust my team until I was sure those mistakes we just saw were just one-offs. So I decided to play ultra passive this game unless I saw a big opportunity to score. And in the very next play, I was starting to believe that these weren't actually just one-off mistakes. These things continued on and on. And this passive playstyle I was using to rank up so far was no longer working. This is so extremely bizarre. Was I dead wrong about Platinums this whole time? Can you actually get stuck here from being constantly this unlucky with teammates and opponents? These are all thoughts that were circling my head. It was clear to me now that these plays that were happening were not just a one-time thing. These are my teammates, and this is the Platinum experience. And now that I'm stuck down here in this rank with this new controller, I'm gonna have to deal with it. But wait, maybe I can still win this. Mr. AFK over here was back to being AFK again. My eyes lit up as I saw the opportunity. It's a 3v2 now for who knows how long. Both my teammates decided to push up, so I rotated behind to allow them to take advantage without taking any risk. This was our chance to start our comeback. Yeah, this is going to be harder than I thought. Our opponent ended up being AFK for 40 seconds, and unfortunately, during all 40 of those seconds, both of my teammates were pushed up. Normally, this would be fine. Like, that's the whole purpose of this video, to show how good positioning and being a good teammate can carry you far in the ranks. But in Platinum, it doesn't work like that. And for this game in particular, someone had to step up. After dodging my teammate rotating near post and getting a small clear to buy some time to regroup, I worked my way out of our defensive half and scored our first goal of the game. That's the strategy. I've got to play ultra defensive when there's any risk of getting scored on, and then completely ball chase and take control whenever we move onto offense. Only problem with this strategy is that my teammates also want to do the exact same thing. So for the next minute and a half, it was no longer a battle between me and the opponents. It was a battle between me and my teammates fighting over boost and who would claim that first man position first. Unfortunately, I gotta admit, that's the one thing Platinums are better than me at. So there were only a few times where I actually had a chance to be our team's attacker. And in almost all of them, they got shut down immediately. So with time running out, I began to lose hope. But suddenly, to my surprise, a glimmer of hope appeared. A small one, but a glimmer nonetheless. With 28 seconds left, our good old friend, Mr. AFK, had once again stopped playing. Now was the time. I had one last chance, nothing to lose, and my dignity to regain. One to two. That's how this game ended. Despite my best efforts to be the best teammate I could possibly be and playing what I thought was an incredibly good game given the circumstances, my efforts just weren't good enough. So to any Platinums saying you're only stuck in your current rank because of your teammates or any other things you can't control, I am so sorry. I doubted you, and I was completely wrong. And for that, I hereby promise to no longer call Platinum the worst rank in Rocket League. I hope you'll forgive me. Sincerely, Wayton. But then I proceeded to win streak all the way up to champ in that same day without improving at all. So turns out that game was just a one-off, and I guess you can disregard this entire video. So yeah, Platinum, still the worst rank. That's all. Bye-bye.